Since the beginning of time, people have been fascinated by the dead. Humans have delighted themselves for centuries by sitting around fires and telling tales of spirits that linger long after their bodies have gone. You find these spirits everywhere: horror movies, kids shows, and serials. But are there really ominous spirits hiding in the dark? Or is it all just superstition? Let's find out. As we all know, a ghost is based on the idea that after someone dies, their soul may continue to roam the earth, sometimes due to a traumatic death or unfinished business. All across the world, the existence of ghosts is up in the air. Some people are terrified of ghosts, some people are fascinated. Some are devout believers, some are devout deniers. Whichever side you fall on, the interest is clear, and it's nothing new. The first recorded haunting comes from the 1st century AD in Athens, the ghost of an old man with a long beard and rattling chains. Something that goes so far back certainly couldn't be purely superstition, right? Well, not only have people been reporting hauntings for a long time, they've also been faking them. In the mid-1800s, 3 New York sisters, Leah, Maggie, and Kate Fox, convinced the world that they were spiritual mediums. They were able to communicate back and forth with spirits through knocking sounds. After becoming rich and famous for their supposed powers, and beginning a movement of believers in America, they came clean. It had been fake from the beginning. The sisters had mastered cracking their joints loudly to produce the knocking sounds. Despite this confession, the movement continued on, and today, 45% of Americans believe in some form of ghost. Clearly, people are just as fascinated with spirits as they've always been. There's an entire television genre dedicated to finding and reporting on ghosts, although a fair share of these have been debunked. Let's hear some local opinions.
Yeah, I definitely believe in ghosts. I believe that there's always an afterlife, that people that die, they don't just stop living. There has to be something further than that. You know, people go somewhere, if it's heaven or hell or whatever, purgatory, they still go somewhere. When I was little, I would wake my mom up in the middle of the night, and I was like 2 or 3, so I had a normal bed at this point. So I would wake her up in the middle of the night, and I would say that I couldn't sleep because people were watching me. And she would be like, honey, there's no people. And I'd be like, no, there's people standing in my hallway, and I can't sleep with them watching me because they just stare at me. I'm scared they're going to get me. There's no doubt that ghosts are real. Nothing that you can say can possibly change my mind.
No, I don't think that ghosts are real. I think every ghost story ever told can be explained through physical or mental phenomena. I think everything has an explanation, and to suggest that things are paranormal just because there's no apparent evidence is foolish and naive. It's just an active imagination and nothing more. A lot of these ghost stories that you hear about can be explained very rationally. A lot of them happen in the middle of the night as you're going to or from bed. A lot of that can be explained very scientifically by things like an overactive imagination. I know that I struggle with things like sleep paralysis, so there's times where I'm very tired and waking up and I can't move and I see a ghost in my room or I see somebody who's not there and then suddenly they're gone. And that can be explained mentally. That's just something that people experience all of the time and often don't know much about. To be honest, there's bumps that happen during the day just like there are at night. You just don't notice those as much. Ghosts are not real. Everything has an explanation, and you cannot change my mind on that.
Do I believe in ghosts? I believe in one ghost for certain, and that's the Holy Ghost. Otherwise, I got no clue. I think that there isn't enough stuff to say for certain if ghosts are out there, but there isn't any stuff to say, like, they are there either. I like to be prepared either way because I like to be careful. Because if ghosts are out there and I walk into a haunted house, then I'm dead. But if ghosts aren't out there and I walk into a haunted house, then I'm just real spooked the whole time because I think there's ghosts. So I just don't go into haunted houses. Ever since I was little, my mom used to give me stories of like how we'd be protected by some spirits or something. And honestly, that sounds really cool, and I think it's a good thing to do. But also, when I was little, I'd have the worst nightmares ever, and I don't know, I can't explain them with anything that happens nowadays. Like, I get premonition nightmares. I get nightmares where I'd have a nightmare, then I'd wake up 5 minutes before I woke up, and then if that's not like a curse thing or like one of those voodoo hex child things, I don't know what it is. Could be ghosts, I don't know. I sure can't tell. But I do know that I don't know anything, and I'm a very scared child, inside disrespect. Honestly, I think anyone who believes in ghosts wholeheartedly is kind of dumb, and I think the same thing for people who think that ghosts aren't real with their whole heart as well. I think that I don't know what to think, and that's my entire opinion on the matter. So take that home, write it to mama, put it inside your mail, write a paper on it, I don't care.
It seems that no one can agree for certain on whether or not ghosts are real. I know that before I never really believed, but after my research I wonder, who can say? Even the most devout denier may have moments in the dark of night where they're sure that someone or some phantasmal thing is watching from the shadows. In that moment of fear, when you hear a bump in the night, or feel a cool breeze, or you swear that you just saw something move in the dark, can we really know for sure?